Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into Project Trigger, the first World Trigger anime game on Roblox, and trust me, it's been taking the platform by storm. If you've played the game, you know the deal. When you start, you get a random race. But the fun part is that you can always re-roll it for a chance at something different. For 500 Robux, you get 5 spins. And who knows, you might just hit the jackpot with a race that suits your playstyle. But hey, not all races are created equal, right? So, let's break down the race tier list and figure out which ones are truly the best for your gameplay. Now, as we go through the tier list, I'll be giving you the inside scoop on which races shine above the rest. Some of them are absolute game changers, while others are, well, a bit more underwhelming. Whether you're aiming for high damage or some sneaky special abilities, we'll cover everything you need to know to make the best choice for your character. So, grab a snack, sit back, and let's get into the Project Trigger race tier list. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking races in Project Trigger. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The races in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Calvaria and Human. Alright, so you've decided to dive into Project Trigger, and now you're wondering about the C-tier races. Well, hold on to your seat because we're about to talk about the Calvaria and Humans, two races that may not shine the brightest, but they have their own charm and usefulness. Let's break it down, shall we? First up, the Calvaria. Now, the Calvaria may not be the flashiest race in the game, but if you're looking for a solid tank, this is your go-to. Picture this. Calvaria are like that friend who takes one for the team and absorbs all the hits while everyone else stays safe. They're built for defense, no question. They have an outstanding ability to soak up damage, making them perfect for protecting your teammates when the heat is on. However, there's a catch. While they're excellent at taking damage, they don't really dish out the same level of pain in return. If you're up against a damage-dealing monster, Calvaria might struggle a bit. But hey, what they lack in offense, they make up for in resilience. These guys are masters of survival. With their impressive defensive buffs thanks to their 0.55x base Tryon and a solid 0.25x Tryon resistance, they're able to absorb the hardest blows and still stand tall. You'll often see them in that tanky role, taking hits so others can do the dirty work. And while their melee abilities can deliver some serious knockdowns and inflict damage, it's still not quite enough to put them at the top of the offensive food chain. Now, let's switch gears and talk about Humans. Ah, the jack of all trades, master of none. These guys are the all-arounders. Humans don't have any over-the-top special abilities, but they're pretty darn versatile. If you're someone who likes to have options and not be locked into one playstyle, the Human race is a safe bet. Their balanced attributes make them a good choice for anyone, especially newcomers who want to experiment without committing too much to one thing. Need a bit of defense? Got it! Want to dish out some decent damage? No problem. Need a speed boost? Humans have your back. But here's the thing. While Humans are great at adapting, they're not going to blow you away with unique abilities like some of the other races. They're not the powerhouse of offense, nor are they the best at defense. But they're reliable. Think of them as the Swiss Army knife of races. They might not do one thing exceptionally well, but they can handle a little bit of everything. Plus, their flexibility allows you to adapt to whatever situation you're facing. If you're not sure what direction to take, Humans are a solid choice that lets you test the waters. When it comes to gameplay, Humans can unlock a variety of versatile skills. You can decide whether you want to go offensive or defensive, and build your character the way that fits your playstyle. The real beauty of Humans is in their adaptability. They're not locked into a specific role, and that's what makes them so accessible to players who like a bit of variety. Now let's talk about the odds. The chance to roll a Calvaria is 3%, which means they're a little rarer to come by. But if you like playing the tank role, it's worth hunting them down. On the other hand, Humans have a much higher chance of being rolled, 60%. If you're looking for a reliable race with consistent stats and the ability to try different strategies, Humans are your go-to. So, to wrap it up, both Calvaria and Humans are solid C-tier picks. They may not be as flashy or powerful as some of the higher-tier races, but they've got their own unique strengths. Calvaria are your go-to tanks, perfect for soaking up damage and protecting your team, while Humans offer versatility and adaptability to suit a variety of playstyles. Neither will steal the spotlight, but both can still be incredibly effective in the right hands. And that's the scoop on Calvaria and humans in Project Trigger. Whether you're soaking up damage or just trying to figure out what works for you, these two races are definitely worth considering. The races in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Spinthier. If you're all about speed and agility in Project Trigger, then the Spinthier race is definitely something you'll want to check out. These guys aren't about standing still and tanking hits. They're all about zipping in, dealing damage, and then dipping before anyone can blink. Seriously, their mobility is insane. If you love hit-and-run tactics, this is your dream race. What makes Spinthier stand out, though, is their reflexes. It's not just about running fast. They're also lightning quick in dodging attacks. Their ability to dodge and strike back with such precision makes them fantastic in skirmishes, where speed and timing are everything. Whether you're up close with a melee weapon or keeping your distance with ranged attacks, they've got a solid toolkit for either style. It's all about versatility. But here's the thing. While they're great at hitting and running, Spinthier aren't exactly built for long fights or holding the front lines. Their fragile nature means they'll crumble if they get caught in a prolonged battle or surrounded by enemies. They're more suited to darting in and out, keeping the pressure on without taking too much damage. And yeah, that's where they excel, but don't expect them to be tanking hits like some of the beefier races. On top of all that, Spinthier also get some nice race buffs that boost their performance. They get a little extra Treon, meaning they're good at generating energy for those flashy moves. Plus, they have a reduction in limb removal by 50% and quicker power skill cooldowns. Sure, their defense isn't the best, but if you're running the show with speed and strategy, you'll be weaving in and out of danger like a pro. The races in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Egrates and Liberi. Alright, let's dive into some of the top tier races in Project Trigger. Now, we're talking about two heavyweights here, the Egrates and the Liberi. These two races bring unique strengths to the table, and if you know how to handle them, they can be game changers in your playstyle. Let's start with the Egrates. These guys might not be the fastest, but they pack a punch when it comes to strategic gameplay. Think of them as the chess players of Project Trigger. You gotta think several moves ahead and know the right moment to use their special abilities. The real beauty of the Egrates lies in their ability to turn the tide of battle, if you play them right. They might not be the quickest to charge in, but they'll outsmart you in no time if you're not careful. They're all about the big picture. Their special abilities are their ace in the hole. With a veteran player behind them, Egrates can pull off moves that'll have the other team scratching their heads. But, and it's a big but, you've got to know your stuff. These characters require experience to truly shine. If you're the type of player who likes to play a more tactical game and take your time, then the Egrates are definitely your jam. It's all about precision with them. Now, when it comes to offense and defense, the Egrates balance both sides really well. While they aren't necessarily the frontline warriors who'll rush into the fray, they can definitely hold their own. But what really makes them dangerous is their ability to strategize and deploy their power at the right moment. Timing is everything, and with the right setup, they can dismantle even the most aggressive teams. Moving on to the Liberi. Now these guys are the complete opposite of the Egrates. Where the Egrates are methodical and slow, the Liberi are speedsters who thrive on quick movements and high damage output. If you're the kind of player who loves to rush in, deal damage, and then dip out before anyone knows what happened, then the Liberi are a perfect fit. They're all about that fast-paced, hit-and-run playstyle. Despite their speed and agility, Liberi aren't just about raw damage. They also have enough defense to make sure they're not completely wiped out in the process. Think of them as the agile, offensive powerhouse that can take a hit when needed, but still zoom in and out of battle with ease. Speed isn't just for dodging here. It's about controlling the battlefield and making sure the enemy has no time to react. When it comes to versatility, Liberi shine. They can adapt to almost any combat scenario with their diverse skill set. Whether you're facing off in a chaotic brawl or need to pick off targets from a distance, Liberi have got you covered. You can mix up your approach, keep your opponents on their toes, and be a nightmare to track down. If you like to keep things unpredictable, Liberi are your go-to. Let's talk about their race buffs for a sec. Liberi get a nice boost to their XP gain, meaning you'll level up quicker, which is always a win. They also get a solid 15% increase to their base Tryon, alongside some extra power damage and defense. It's the perfect combination for a race that can take on offense and defense with equal strength. You'll be zipping around the map, dealing damage, and keeping your team in the game with ease. So, whether you're all about tactics and playing the long game with the Egrates, or you're itching to get up close and personal with the Liberi's speed and firepower, both of these races have something amazing to offer. It just comes down to how you like to play the game, slow and steady or fast and furious. The choice is yours. The races in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Afterkrator and Eldar. All right, let's dive straight into the heart of Project Trigger and talk about two of the absolute best races in the game, Afterkrator and Eldar. These two are absolute beasts, and if you manage to roll them, you're in for a serious power boost. First up, we've got the Afterkrator. Don't let the fancy name fool you. These guys are the emperors of battle. When you think of a race that can dominate just about any combat situation, Afterkrators are the ones you're thinking of. They come packing some of the most advanced technology and a killer damage output. Their Trion-based weapons are no joke, and those mighty black triggers? Yeah, they pack a punch. What really makes them stand out, though, is how strategic you have to be when playing them. This isn't a race where you can just rush in and spam attacks. No, you're looking at a tactical mastermind situation here. Use that advanced tech to your advantage and focus on hitting hard at the right moments. If you can master the art of high-damage strategic combat, you're pretty much unstoppable with Afterkrators. And don't even get me started on their race buffs. You get 1.5x base Trion, which means more energy to fuel your abilities. Trion damage gets a nice 0.5x boost, and there's a 0.75x Trion resistance buff, making you way more resilient. Oh, and the best part? Limb removal is reduced by 50%, meaning you can take a lot more damage before getting taken down. Plus, your Trion skill cooldowns are reduced by 10%. That's a lot of extra power in your hands. Now let's switch gears and talk about the Eldar. If you thought the Afterkrators were strong, wait until you see what Eldar can do. Speed and agility are the name of the game with this race. They move like lightning, making them near impossible to catch. But the real kicker? Their psychic abilities. That's right, Eldar characters don't just rely on their weapons. They can literally bend energy to their will and turn the tide of battle in an instant. While it might take some time to really get the hang of playing an Eldar, once you do, you'll find they're nearly unstoppable. They've got the perfect blend of speed, strategy, and power. You can zip around the battlefield, dodging attacks left and right while dishing out some serious ranged damage. Perfect for hit-and-run tactics, and with their psychic powers, you can play around with energy manipulation, adding another layer to your strategy. Let's not forget about the buffs for Eldar. You get a nice 0.55x boost to base Trion, which might seem modest compared to the Afterkrators, but with the amount of speed and psychic abilities you've got, it more than makes up for it. The agility and mobility you get with Eldar just make them so hard to pin down. You're always one step ahead of your enemies. And that's what makes Eldar such a dangerous force in Project Trigger. They're a race that requires finesse, but once you get it, you can practically dance circles around your opponents while slinging psychic-powered attacks. If you're the type who likes to control the battlefield from a distance, Eldar is your go-to. So there you have it, Afterkrator and Eldar. Two races that are absolutely top tier in Project Trigger. Whether you like to strategize and blast your enemies to bits like an Afterkrator, or you prefer to zip around and manipulate energy with the Eldar, both are a force to be reckoned with. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.